What's up YouTube? John Howell here, and this video I'm going to talk to you about some things that's going to happen to you when you try to achieve, whether it's money or above average results in any area, whether it's health, whether it's vitality, whether it's money, whether it's the physique you want, anything you want there. And I'm going to share with you stuff that you're going that you need to accept if you're going to take on that road, regardless of what you do. I'm also going to talk about the acceptance of people and some things that I've learned. Some things that I've learned over the years now. I've been in the personal development industry now for almost 10 years, and that's just not a number thrown out there. I really have gone through a lot of personal development from the age of 17 of living on the streets to now being almost 30 myself. Plus I'm also going to talk to you about addiction, some things that I did. But recently I had a massive addiction to a food, and even though I was losing weight and staying in good shape, there was this one food that I was addicted to, and some things that I did to really help me move over this. This is your Monday motivational video. This is some things that I'm doing in my life personally, and I'm sure it's going to help you out. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about right now is some things that you need to accept that what's going to happen moving forward if you try to achieve above average results. What's going to happen with people around you, even loved ones, really close loved ones, they're going to tell you that what you're doing is the wrong thing. When I had cancer in 2009 and I said I'm not going to do the cancer, I'm not going to do the radiation, the chemotherapy, I'm going to take it on naturally. What happened there is they said that I could, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't go down there, you don't know what you're doing. And so what's going to happen, there's going to be two things that's going to happen to you. There's going to be those people who actually don't know any better, and so what they're going to do, they're going to say don't do what you're doing because they actually think they're conditioned to believe that that's not the way. Okay, so it's not that they're being negative to you or anything like that. It's just the way their blueprint is. Like for me, when I first started investing in the stock market, a few friends of mine were saying, "What are you doing, John? You know, you're gambling. You can't invest in the stock market. Blah 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 blah." Right? It's because they're so conditioned. Some people that I knew that are like 50, 60 years of age, they're so conditioned to working 9 to 5 every day. Makes sense? So there's those types of people who are just, it's just in their blueprint to say, you know what, don't do what you're doing. If like for me personally, when I invest in the stock market, or if I try to be healthy, like eliminating my cancer naturally, or try to transform my body like I did last year, where I lost 88 pounds in 6 months. So many people will say when I was losing that weight, "Oh, you're losing it too fast, John. You know, you shouldn't do that. You know." That doesn't make sense. So they're those types of people, and just be open-minded that what's going to happen is. So there's those types of people who are they're just in that mode of that's all they believe in, or that's all they know. All right. So whenever you try to achieve those above average results, whether it's this week or whether it's this month or continue on through the year, just know that those types of people, they're not trying to drag you down, they're not trying to be negative towards you. It's just that's the way they believe, consciously believe that the way you should do. So they actually believe that what they're telling you is the right way because it's the way that they've done things. Make sense? And then you've got the other people. Whether you're trying to achieve above average results in health, any area of life, money, freedom, finances, vitality, health, body, physique, whatever. There's those types of people that are too gutless to try to step up. They're going to be those people that are too gutless to step up themselves and try it. And so because you're doing something that they want to do, but they're too gutless to try it, then yes, they're going to do whatever they can to drag you down to your level. Make sense? So there's two types of people. One that's actually going to consciously believe that you're doing the wrong thing, and you think they're negative, but it's just the way they do things. Second thing is the people that really want to try something, but they're too gutless, they're too fearful to actually go and try it. But when you go out there and try something, and you're doing the exact thing that they want to do, now what is happening is that they will be negative, and they will unconsciously, they'll do whatever they can to try to pull you back down to their comfort zone. Because you stepping out of your comfort zone and trying to achieve above average results is those people around you that want to do the same thing but they're too scared to. Now what is happening is they're going to do whatever they can to try to drag you back down so they feel comfortable. Make sense? And everyone likes to be in their comfort zone, and that's the most dangerous place to actually be in. So they're the few things that's going to happen when you actually try to achieve above average results. So keep an eye out for that. There's a lot of people out there, especially when I was just going through the stock market, trying to eliminate cancer, you know, trying to build a good physique, all this sort of stuff. What happened is I always thought people were negative to me, but after a while I just realized that they're not negative. It's just that the way that they think, the way that they actually think is that the way they've done things is they honestly believe that this is the right way to do things. Next thing, let's talk about accepting of people. There's so many people out there, and this is what happened to me recently. I talked to let's call him an acquaintance. I was talking to him, and a while ago over so many years, the last 5-6 years, I've made a decision not to do something. I'm not going to go into it, but not to do something. And this acquaintance, call him an ex-friend or whatever, he still, after so many years, didn't like that I made that decision. And this is the same thing for me as well too, is that if I'm going out there and I'm talking to people and I'm talking about stock market or investing or health or vitality or, you know, good way to trim body fat or whatever it is, then I have my certain way, right? But doesn't mean my way is the right way for everyone. And this is one thing I've learned over the years, is just to accept other people's opinion, accept other people's way of doing things, but doesn't mean we have to take it on. Makes sense? That so many people out there, especially me, and I am so guilty of this, is that what happens is that we go out there and we talk to other people, and what happens is that when we go out there and we talk to other people, it's like, this is our way, and this is my way, and this is the best way, right? My way, my best way may not be your best way for you. Now, I can share some things with you, I can talk to you about some things, but what's going to happen is that it's so important to understand and just to accept other people. We can get so frustrated saying, what do you keep doing that for? What do you keep doing this for? And we get so frustrated and we try to say, listen, this is the way you should be doing it. Now, yes, there's some fundamental things we should be doing, like if you want to lose body fat, low carb. Like that's a fundamental thing that we need to do, right? But there's ways that people do things, the way that we do things, and they may not connect together. But we get so worked up and so overworked up and so worried about what other people are doing. Just accept that that's the way they're doing things, and then move on. Makes sense? So that acceptance, like, you know what? Yep. Or one of my favorite words I've learned from my mentor is whatever. If you want to go do that, then go wall in that. You know what I mean? You want to go drink yourself silly, go do that. If you want to kill yourself with low carb, low calorie, or whatever, go do that. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things out there of doing that. So at the end of the day, with this second point here, is that just accept other people's opinion, just accept for what they're doing, and then move on, move forward. Make sense? Don't just sit there and don't wallow in, oh, this is the way and this is my way. You know what? I teach fitness, I teach health, and plus I also have a financial and trading channel. Now, there's a lot of things I really learned in the financial and the investing arena that I've learned over now, gone almost 10 years now, and plus in the personal development, plus body, you know, losing body fat, eliminating cancer naturally, all these things, I've done all these different things. Make sense? But the thing is that my way may not be right for you, but I have learned to accept other people and their point of view. I will take it aboard, but it doesn't mean I have to do what they tell me to do. See the difference there? So many people think is that if I accept it, that means I have to start doing what they're doing. Or if I accept it, that means I have to start acting upon what they're saying. No, you say, cool, if that's the way you do things, awesome. If that's working for you, go do that. Or you might be able to learn some few things. Just by accepting other people's opinion, you're open-minded, and therefore you might be able to pick up a few things that other people do, which is going to help you move forward. Makes sense? So that is one of the most important things, is moving forward when it comes to accepting of people. Alright, so that's the big thing. Next, the third thing, let's talk about addictions. For me personally, I recently had my timer there. I recently had a big addiction with pizza. Alright, I'm going to come out and say in the open that every single week I had to have pizza. And so that's the same for this week here. I look forward to my pizza day on a Sunday or something like that. But before, it just got way out of control. I was ordering pizza like a couple of months ago. I ordered pizza 6 times in 2 weeks. It was just way out of control, and that was my addiction. So what we need to do with our addiction is that we need to move out. We need to pull ourselves out of that addiction, and we need to start fighting that addiction, all right? We need to use willpower. And so many people say, how do you use willpower? It's like any muscle. At the start, it's going to be hard to break it, all right? It's going to be hard to break that pattern. It's going to be hard to do that. But with me, I had to have pizza every single week. Every single week I had to have pizza because I was just so addicted to it. So I took a whole month off. That was in it was in October. The whole month of October, I took the whole month off of eating pizza because I was eating pizza every single week, and I had to defrag myself from eating that pizza all the time. Make sense? So whatever addiction you have, first thing we need to do is be aware of what we're doing. Just say, okay, am I being over crazy about something? Whether it's smoking, drinking, being lazy, being addicted to YouTube, or whatever it is. Okay, is there any addiction that you have there? That's the first thing, is actually being aware of what you're doing. So sit down and actually say, what am I doing? Be honest with yourself. Second thing is, okay, then let's actually give myself a time. Let me give myself a break away from that. And you know what's going to happen? The first couple of weeks is going to be the hardest thing, but I promise you, after the third week of you doing that, like with me, the first 2 weeks of not eating pizza was the most hardest thing I had to do personally, because I was eating pizza every week for the last couple of years. Now, but what happens is that when you actually do that, and when you pull yourself away from doing that, then after 3 weeks, going to close to 4 weeks, you don't have that connection anymore, right? So if you're willing to go through that pain, that short-term pain of that willpower, saying this is so hard, I really want to do it, I just want to go do that smoking, I want to do the drinking or whatever, I understand it's hard. So we need to change what we do. We need to get active around those things that we do. Make sense? So instead of me eating pizza, I changed my pizza to making a healthy fried rice. Brown rice, veggies, chicken, bit of soy sauce, stuff like that. Make sense? So that's much more healthier version. So I used as what we call a big cheat meal. I cooked like a big bowl of fried rice with brown rice, stuff like that, on the actual stove, and that was my cheat. Make sense? So I did that to fill in that pizza thing. Now, it wasn't the same, but I promise you that if you want to go through that short-term pain of the first couple of weeks of going through addiction, you know, it's going to be the most hardest thing you do, especially if you're doing it for years like me. Pizza, years and years, all the time. It's going to be the most hardest thing you're going to do, but I promise you, after 3 weeks, 4 weeks, if you just stick at it, and you say, right, this is the most hardest thing you're going to do, but if you just stick at it, I promise you, at the end, you're going to feel so amazing, so alive and so vibrant, because now you've got that disconnection from that thing. For me, it was pizza, right? Now, I still like to have pizza on the weekend these days, but it's not like, oh, I need to have it. Makes sense? So, that's all I say, is that replace it. But at the end of the day, is that for you to get over that addiction, for you to get over that thing that you're addicted about, what you need to do is you need to say, you know what, I need to stop doing this and I need to do something different from this, because this is really not servicing me. And so many people are worried about that short-term pleasure. The short-term pleasure really leads to long-term pain. What I try to do is I say, what do I need to do right now that's going to be the short-term pain? But if I do this thing that's going to be short-term pain, it's likely to lead to long-term gain, long-term pleasure. Make sense? There's a scale there. Short-term pain for long-term pleasure, or short-term pleasure for long-term pain. What are you working on? What is your scale that you're working on? Are you working on that? Are you working on the short-term pleasure all the time, but forgetting the long-term pain that you might be doing? Now, pain simply means you might be sacrificing money, time, freedom, health. You know, you're trying to lose weight, whatever it is. All right, that's pain in our life. So, at the end of the day, go out there and try this, okay? Go out there and do it. If you're addicted to something, I strongly encourage you. You know what? I'm going to give this up for a couple of weeks. And I'm telling you, it's going to be the most hardest thing you're ever going to do, period. But when you actually go out there and when you actually start doing this, you can actually make this thing work. Alright? Alright, so let's just go over a few things we talked about today. First thing we talked about today was that when you actually try to achieve above average results, there's going to be two types of people that's going to be in your life. One, that they're so they're so conditioned to believe that what they're doing is the right way, that they're going to try and tell you not to do what you're trying to do, which is achieve above average results, because it's not their blueprint, it's not their way. Make sense? The next thing we talked about is those people who actually want to do what you're doing, but they don't want to step out of their comfort zone because they like being in the comfort zone, and they're too gutless, too fearful to step out. Now, when you step out, whether it's a friend or even a family member, they see that and they're too gutless to try. Now they're going to start saying things to try to get you to come back down to their level. You know what I mean? So they're in their comfort zone because you're pulling out. of your comfort zone is getting them uncomfortable. The second thing is just accepting of people. Don't be so, this is my way, this is my way, this is my way. Just be accepting of people. Accept their point of view and move on. You're going to be less stressed. You're going to have a much more greater life. And you're probably going to grow a lot more because now you're accepting of people's opinion, people's views. Now you're going to say, oh, cool, if that's working for you, go wall in it, whatever, you know what I mean? But you accepting is going to keep you an open mind. And the third thing is addiction. If you have addiction, first thing ask, do I have addiction to anything right now? And or do I do things on a continuous basis? And if so, you know what, it's time to step up, it's time to man up about what you're doing right now. It's time to man up and say, you know what, this is what it's all about and I need to start doing this. You know what, and give yourself a month of a break of doing that. Because I promise you, after the third, getting into the fourth week of you breaking that pattern, yes, the first 3 weeks is going to be the most hardest thing, especially if you've been doing it for a while, right? And you're going to be so cranky, you're going to be nervous, you're going to be jittery, all these different things, right? Especially if you're addicted to it and you need to have it. But I promise you is that after a couple of weeks, is that you're going to feel so amazing. So keep yourself active, right? If you're addicted, say, to drinking or something like that, or smoking, or junk food, then I can't say just don't do that. Don't do that, but in a turn, have something else that's going to replace that. Make sense? But at the end of the day, it's just going to come down to willpower. How do you strengthen that willpower to push through? Is actually just doing it. Get up and say, you know what, I understand that I'm going to go through the most hardest pain in my life for the next couple of weeks. But it's only a couple of weeks. And you've got to say to yourself, it's only a couple of weeks. It's only 2 to 3 weeks. And I know that at the end of this road, I'm going to be much better, much more healthy, and much more vibrant, earn a lot more money, give a lot more out to charities, whatever it is. Makes sense? Because of that, because you're pulling out. And after a while, what happens is because you're strengthening your willpower through that couple of weeks of any addiction you have, that's actually going to help you in all other areas. Just say you do that in investing. You maybe you have addiction to being on the computer all the time, investing or trading or whatever. Or it's junk food when you're trying to lose weight or whatever. Makes sense? Then what's going to happen is that willpower there, when you actually go through that willpower, you strengthen that muscle, right? So then that's actually going to carry over to other areas, maybe such as being a parent or running a business or something like that. Make sense? So these are the 3 things that I wanted to talk to you about today. This is your Monday motivation. I'm trying to do these every couple of weeks now to help you out, but these are some things that I've learned and I really went over on the weekend. I thought this is really going to help and serve some people out there. This is John Howell here from tradinginvesting4u.com and getripshortcuts.com. Make sure you head down there to check us out to get more information about investing for tradinginvesting4u.com or fitness, which is getripshortcuts.com. Remember, at the end of the day, say to yourselves every morning, every afternoon, evening, and that is success can be yours if you go claim it. So step up, take